Welcome to Freedom Flicker. Today, we're diving into a seismic shift in global politics. At the 2025 Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin, Chinese President Xi Jinping laid out a bold vision for a new world order, one that challenges the dominance of the United States and pushes for a multipolar future. But what does this mean for you, for sovereignty, and for the balance of power worldwide? Is this a step toward fairness, as she claims, or a strategic play for control by another superpower? Stick with us for the next 30 minutes as we unpack the SCO summit, Xi's agenda, and what it could mean for freedom across the globe. Let's get started. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our deep dives into the stories shaping our world. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO, isn't just another international club. It's a powerhouse. Founded in 2001 by China, Russia, and Central Asian nations, it now includes heavyweights like India, Iran, and Pakistan, covering 40% of the world population and vast energy reserves. The SCO started as a regional security group, but it's evolved into a platform for economic and political cooperation, aiming to rival Western-led institutions like the G7 or NATO. At the 2025 summit in Tianjin, Xi Jinping used this stage to push his vision of a multipolar world, a system where power isn't concentrated in one nation, like the US, but shared among many. Sounds fair, right? But let's dig deeper into what's really going on. Explain the SCO's growth, e.g., Iran joined in 2023, Belarus in 2024. Highlight Xi's pledges: 2 billion yuan, $280 million in grants, 10 billion yuan, $1.4 billion in loans, and plans for an SCO development bank. Mention the symbolic setting of Tianjin, a city once controlled by colonial powers, now hosting a summit challenging Western dominance. Xi Jinping didn't mince words at the SCO summit. He called for an equitable and orderly multipolar world and slammed what he called hegemonism and bullying practices, a not-so-subtle jab at the U.S. and its tariffs under President Trump. He's pushing for a global governance system that gives more voice to the global South, the developing nations that make up the majority of the UN's members. Xi's vision includes deeper economic ties, like aligning the Belt and Road Initiative with SCO economies, and even tech cooperation, like an AI center for SCO nations. But here's the question: is this about fairness, or is China just trying to replace one form of dominance with another? Let's look at what she's offering: cash, loans, and a narrative that resonates with countries tired of Western influence. The SCO summit wasn't just about Xi. It was a stage for alliances. Russian President Vladimir Putin echoed Xi's call for a new security system in Eurasia, one that ditches Eurocentric models. Meanwhile, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, visiting China for the first time in 7 years, met Xi to mend ties strained by a 2020 border clash. With U.S. tariffs hitting both India and China, Modi's warming up to Beijing, framing their relationship as partners, not rivals. But here's the catch: India is also part of the U.S.-led Quad alliance. Is Modi playing both sides, or is he hedging bets in a chaotic world? And let's not forget Putin's angle. Facing Western sanctions over Ukraine, he's leaning hard on China for economic and diplomatic support. This summit shows a tightening China-Russia bond, but can it hold with so many rivalries in the mix? Discuss Putin's claim that the Ukraine crisis stems from a Western-backed coup, not Russian aggression. Highlight Modi's balancing act between SCO and Western alliances. Note the presence of other leaders like Iran's Masoud Pezeshkian and Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan. While she was rallying SCO leaders, the West was watching with unease. Outlets like the New York Times called it a summit of villains, and the Washington Post said China's using Trump's tariffs to pull countries like India closer. Trump's trade war, with threats of 200% tariffs on China, has pushed nations toward the SCO's orbit. But here's where it gets real for us. A multipolar world could mean less U.S. influence, but does it guarantee more freedom? Or are we just trading one boss for another? China's offering loans and AI tech, but critics argue it's a debt trap strategy to control smaller nations. And with Putin and Xi pushing a narrative against Western hegemony, the risk of a new Cold War, or worse, looms large. What does this mean for your sovereignty, your economy, and your future? So, where do we go from here? Xi's vision for a multipolar world is gaining traction, with the SCO as its testing ground. The Tianjin Declaration, signed at the summit, pushes for integration, free trade, and a rejection of Western bullying. But as China, Russia, and India flex their muscles, the world's at a crossroads. Will this lead to a fairer system, or just shift power to Beijing's favor? At Freedom Flicker, we believe it's up to you to question the narrative. Don't just take Xi's word, or the West's, at face value. Dig into what a multipolar world means for your country, your wallet, and your freedoms. We'll keep covering these shifts, so stay with us for the truth behind the headlines.